Or whatever it is, wherever you are. Alright, so we want to replace this thing. That's probably going to be a long process. Might want to have some stuff going in parallel. What exactly is going in here now? Timeline. Alright, we're laserfied with what is there. This version's going to take a lot more stuff. Okay, so you were ID'd. What if we just... I guess this would be a column? Okay, that did do something to our width. Okay, so probably this has to be width fill for that to all work. All right, and for this work, not map UI. Timeline? No, actually, model's a separate thing. Actually, this might be animated mode. Data animated. Okay. So what's behind you? How about forward animated? Model.data animated. So that means something else. Is turning it back off. Okay, I'm initializing leaflet. Wow. I already toggled it there. Anim overlay. I can see if you get received. Okay, so that actually does it. Oh, am I possibly rewriting it from that stuff? Oh, or are we not animatable at the time we do this? Okay, so that evaluates to false. Now we have to decide which parts of this are the problem. So there's actually an actual animatable. And we also need, what is the value of it at this time? Let's get that as a pair. So animatable is indeed false. So this is probably because we don't have a time range right now. Or our current time is not in range. I don't want to deal with your precedents. Map to and model.map time. Okay, so our range is nothing. It's probably because we have no arcs. So ins in range is probably going to tell us that we're not animatable. So I'm going to have to do this differently. So this only gets called once here. I mean, I could just take this out. Things might not work right. Yeah, it's not the animated. Well, actually, there might not be much happening here. Oh, well, that actually works. Okay. So in many cases of set time range, I don't think we weren't really seeing that pop off again here. It's really just jump time. Okay, so course start time would also tweak that. And basically any of that other UI. Point of that was to turn off animation if it wasn't available. Which means we won't normally do that if we go outside of range, but I'd have to like reevaluate that. Once we had the time range data. What time do we start at? Of course, now we've actually set that up. It probably... This is probably like the last time of the map. Yeah, 03. So it's not jump time. Maybe, well, no, because we did go to time route from somewhere. So it might possibly be you. But if that's select arc, that comes in before we get the arc data. Subscriptions. Get rid of all the time spam. I don't have a tag for when that happens now. So server URL, then we get our current URL. I think the URL stuff was actually doing some of it. Oh, we get it again. And we update it, we get it again. Oh, it wasn't firing off multiple times. Monument list, band list, arc list. This might be because it didn't evaluate to a change, so it didn't process it again. Oh no, this happened very early. Before any messages were received. Timer, maybe? Init uses it. Huh. So that was data animated and the time range. Since this already turned it off, we can't just go call that function again. Yeah, I might just have to leave this as a hack for now. Which I guess means we should reduce it to one hack. Okay, so that actually, well, that just leaves it alone, isn't it? True. All right, and then debug.log. All right, timeline. All right, so we did that thing, lazified. I think I might just want to leave the other one around for a little bit. Maybe I should do want that one on the bottom. Okay, if that compiles, it should be fine. Now, what the heck do we want to do? Okay, so this is like our entire top thing. I might actually need to swap those two. Because this is going to be variable size. Maybe it's not bad if it moves up with it. Okay, and this is in fact an input.slider, so we basically have to recreate this slider before we can get fancy. Which, maybe we actually just want to dig into... Okay, so it looks like it's only 3 elements and a couple properties, so we can... well, what are you? You're the slider. So that's some custom stuff. Now, the display of this might change anyway. Do we already have MUI down for something? We do. Gonna be an input, right? Oh, behind content, okay. No track would be rendered, huh? I think on the width height of the slider. Fancy. Thumb attributes. Okay, maybe that's the rounded thing from the parts of the library. Is this... No, thumb attributes is something else. And I can't actually just copy paste this code because it's doing a bunch of internal stuff. Width height of the thumb so the input can shadow it. On parent spacing, on track, everything else. I probably don't want someone to use their classes either because I'm going to need to... Well, I'm going to be trying to use initially LMUI to do similar things. Yeah, all the internals. Track width. Track height. See, is input the properties we passed? Internal.style. Oh, so that's like literally making up a style sheet for this. Huh. Now, since these are like input things, I might have to go do my own style sheet for that. Oh yeah, this is all HTML attributes. I'll snap that interval. Yeah, so min-max value. This might be like an underlying input control, like it's hidden to present a new interface. We know we're going to be horizontal. Element behind content, view vertical thumb, view horizontal thumb. Is that the entire track? Well, it's behind content, isn't it? Okay, so this is looking more like the kind of thing I could actually do myself. But we should kind of have an actual control back there. Well, this isn't going to be just a slider, though. Are we counting on... Where are we? Okay, yes, this is it. On input. Gets the value. So is this to handle keyboard events and things? Because I'm actually going to be doing a lot more than just a slider, so maybe it doesn't make sense to be shadowing a slider control anymore. Of course, doing that without the actual HTML control is actually going to make could make a lot of things we have to deal with. At least I'm only thinking about the mouse interface so far. Element.fill track width. So some attributes behind content. So is this the thumb? And then behind content we have the, well, this is saying behind content is thumb. Internal HTML class. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure out what all that stuff means. Height, center, L. Fill everything. There's those thumb attributes again. Oh, is this... No, there's the 1 minus factor. Yeah, it's not clear what function these things are performing. But that's a very complicated little element there. So rho makes sense. So a none with a high fill, thumb attributes. Oh. You're moving it by sandwiching an element between two differently sized things. Positioning the indicator might almost be pushing us towards SVD or something right away. Alright, so I don't know if it's actually going to make sense to do this as a straight up slider, because it's going to end up being... And you'll be able to use it as kind of a slider, but it's also going to be able to do ranges and things. All right, I'm going to want this nearby just for easy reference of what we did for everything. So the simplest version of replacing this would be just get us a box. And I'm going to have to size you. And probably height you? Okay, it's a box. So they moved the marker. Well, actually, they did this thing as background. I guess that was to make sure that this was the interactable element. I'm actually almost not sure how I want to do the indicator now. Actually, I'm probably going to have to directly interpret clicks along this entire thing. That will kind of give me the freedom to do it however. Meanwhile, we do need an indicator, and the way we do that in ElmUI right now that might be why he does the different size boxes, because that means you don't have to worry about the edge calculations here. Instead of like an exact position, it just kind of goes all the way over and all the way over. I might need the full range for actual data indication, though. That almost becomes like an in front or something. Anyway, it is technically an element in here. What do we do for you? I guess a thinner box would be more appropriate to how it's going to look. So what are you going to be? You're just going to be an L, basically. And that's background palettes. Did I not define palettes here? Okay, we have foreground, background. I guess foreground? Control? Oh no, that's already control. Oh, I guess you would be background for the background of this element. Background. Okay, and that's not really positioned anywhere. Maybe be a little bit bigger. Maybe. Yeah, so this is all the top line stuff. Maybe I actually want to pull this out. So what's the timeline then? This entire thing was the timeline. I don't know how many of these things I'm actually going to need. Let's see, so you needed... How did the input not need anything? I must have derived some values up here. No. Ah. So we did a bunch of casing to get that stuff out. So time start end would be the inputs to this to start with. And we're going to end up having to add a bunch of other stuff. Map time. Actually, the inputs to this are going to be probably very different as time goes on. But you need all the model stuff in addition to the time start end. Or do you? You need time. Okay, so that actually doesn't need that much. But it does only display if that's defined. What do I call this? Is this sort of the timeline? But that's the timeline. Which... I guess it's going to have the same kind of model as that? Except... we've not been using... we've not been using that so far. We've not been using that so far. I think palette was actually a thing I pulled out. Let's again put that back. So we've already pulled out time. Well, that was derived from this. But I might be able to show this when we don't have a time range. Does that compile in isolation? No, it does not. Ah, yes, we didn't pull out our palette. Again. Okay, that compiles in isolation. Was this Unix time? POSIX to milli string format? I guess so. Time equals time. Start equals start. And equals end. All right, this was a model variable. Okay, so now we don't have anything. I do see this, though. So why does extracting that Did I put you in the wrong subgroup? Right, I put you in the player. All right, so we got a little bit of local state. So that was doing... We were converting this to float values, which may or may not be useful. Oh, so there's the some of the thumb attributes. I don't know if we can use that directly. And maybe it's just an element. It's a thumb. And a thumb is a list of attributes. So I mean, that's like your corner rounding and everything. I mean, my thumb is kind of just a list of attributes. But it's a thumb type, not an element type, so I can't really use it. So what if we pulled these out? So that's min and max. And his strategy was to fill some stuff around that by factors. I need to recopy this later. So it was like fill a portion of... Do I want to do these as floats? Because I know it's going to be an integer, but I guess if we're doing a factor, and it still has to kind of be floating. Or is that value divided by? And I guess... All right, and then it was fill portion of... width. Fill a portion of, and then it rounds it. Could I just use the time values? Because they would be relative portions. And it wants integers. I guess we don't actually need that much here. And this would be max minus value. Yes, these are model here. Oh, these don't become floats. I guess we still have +1. Right, so I have to do a bunch of gymnastics on you. Oh, and these are all POSIXs, so we still have to do some of that. And POSIX to float, the equivalent of that. Oh, given an offset. So we're not trying to get the exact time here. Doing it into actual seconds. I guess for proportion, it doesn't matter. Oops. And repeat the mistake. Okay, I believe that. Okay, and that tracks. All right, for this, we're going to need to be able to do drag events. So I think that means mouse down, mouse up, and conditional. Well, I guess mouse up be conditional too. What do you give us? Attribute message. Let's see. So Hades was doing something similar to this. So I might want to bring, well, I don't know if the drag type would be the same, but I'm going to need something similar. Okay, so this was a big area that did our events. Yeah, so we did have a way to track, and this is something that might have to go in model because we need to be able to talk about it in other places. We don't have pinching. We could track both points just in case drag ended up getting used elsewhere. But we're only going to care about one dimension in this case. All right, where are we sticking other miscellaneous helper types here? We've got a center. And that does kind of go into, well, also all of our sidebar and stuff. Now, what I probably don't have here is point. Oh, no, I do. Assuming, well, that's leaflet, so is that the same point encoding? It is not the same point encoding. That's a leaflet point. So now we've got to type alias screen location. Even though I think one of these was like the mouse coordinate and one was like the chart coordinate. Which for our purposes, I guess only one point of that really matters. And like technically one might be a virtual location, might be a screen location. Okay, so we've got that. We use that to turn our things off, on and off. I guess this was just a way to create a null attribute. Oh, I put you down at the bottom, didn't I? Our little helper things. Oh, were you HTML? No, your element. Does this whole thing HTML attribute? Oh, because this had to deal with the touch package, which gave us HTML events. Which might not be a bad point, although I don't know if it's going to be terribly useful on mobile. Although that actually horribly complicates this, because this was like, we just stuck this into an L with these attributes. This is going to have to be a list concatenation. Unless we have a separate thing that's just the events again. So that is... Huh. Alright, so let's not deal with the touch just yet. And you were always tracking mouse move for hover, so that has to go back to a conditional thing. Well, maybe I'll end up with a hover there, but... You could use that to point out what the time was. Oh, and we need to... This is going to be models already exposing everything. Oh, but it's not exposing. Where did I put you? Preset. Isn't a problem with this thing? No, this is view. Ah, yes, the events we have not yet defined. Well, this is not an app-wide thing. So this is going to be like timeline down. Oh, I was just using up there. And we don't need all of this yet, but we know we want to get there. All right, and then... So that was sticking it into... HTML attribute. And since we're mapping that, I think we're going to need to wrap this up into yet more parentheses. Does that work for lists? Oh, and we have to actually define the events. All right. What were we using for the other one? Map time, which there might be multiple versions of that. And I have to do a mouse decoder. So what were you getting? You were getting XY basically, right? Of course, you were actually turning it back into a POSIX. Which would be convenient. I might treat it as two-dimensional. But then my dragging is going to be not going to be in screen coordinates. That's assuming that I have the information there to easily convert that back. We reused up. So you had a mouse decoder, client decoder. All right, we were going on the underlying input change event before. So it did all the scaling for us. This is probably going to be client X, but I don't know if it's the client whose client X it is. So I can't really... The type system gets annoying here because I can't really convert it into anything. Maybe I can... like, just debug out. So right now we want this to be a decoder of POSIX, but really we're just going to do, well, it's a decoder, so can we actually get the value out? We could and map it. This totally doesn't make sense. Does that mean... can get that. All right, does that compile by itself? We're still missing drag, which means I just get passed down all the way from who knows where. Forgot about that detail. Which ultimately has to come from a model. I don't know if I want to run all the way through right now, though. Right, not a local drag. Or a model drag. You almost belong more up there. And all right, we don't have decode. It's probably just JSON decode. Ah. Shorten that up a little bit. Decoder float, so it wants an int too. Oh, you're just a map. So if you're a float, we would just like round you. And now we have event handlers. Okay, we put that similar to map time. Capital map time, please. These aren't going to be real values, so I don't actually want to do anything with it yet. All right, we might see something from the decoder. Okay, so that's a 300. That's a 3. Okay, so that seems reasonably... That's 9. That's 607. So that is in absolute coordinates. So this thing needs to know its own width to make any sense of that. Which is something we have not yet had to know. Also, can we know? Well, I think this thing might be 300. 300. So as long as we don't mess with that, we can figure it out from the window size. But now we're off on a gigantic diversion. Could I stash this and implement window size? Might work. No, that's MUI. MUI model view. We might end up touching a few similar things. Alright, this was also something he had to do. This is going to be more of here. Window width, window height. We've got initial viewport size and resize. Oh, we're in model.m. It's going to be kind of similar to like location stuff. I'm not using this for drawing right now, so it's not going to be too big a deal if we don't know it yet. What do we use as stubs? I think this is based on the default canvas size or something. Okay, so we've got window size and window resize. Window resize did some stuff here. I think we really just need to record it in this case. So that's got layout. Where did those go? I guess we kind of consider that similar to some of the URL stuff. Current time, current URL, current zone. You were just int. Actually, I might be able to get away with a single event for this. Okay, window width, window height. We don't really have any consequences of that directly. Oh, you were saying known, which we don't need just yet. Okay, and in order to send that, and we should know it if we resize as well. We must have had some situation where we didn't get the initial size event. I don't know that I want that in model, because it does the DOM thing. All right, and then initial window size is part of this whole mess. And we don't have DOM. Browser.dom is DOM. All right, and then resize. Browser.events, already had browser.events. There's update time. Notice. Actually ended up being the first thing before. So now, in theory, now is this something we can easily use in the view? Well, we have to. So in theory, that should just work. I don't have anything to prove it works yet. All right, we get an initial size. We get size updates. Did we never check out a branch? No conflict. Oh, why are you? Okay, that was just intermediate. So now we at least have a chance at this. You're gonna have to pass our window. You actually only technically need the window width. I haven't gotten to your definition yet. Or I could actually just pass down width here. And let the outside define what it's going to be. I guess it's still kind of, since this is taking the full model, it's still kind of defined here. Okay. So this might have to go into the decoder, because that's really why we needed it, to make sense of those. Make sense of the coordinates. Pulling out width actually isn't going to be the greatest thing here. Map tagger onto client decoder of width. Okay, so that's an int. Oh, I need a time scale too. I mean, I kind of want... I need to know my start, I need to know my end. I guess I don't need the current time. Maybe this actually needs to take a transform function. They're going to be passing a whole bunch of pieces in here. So that would be... So we got a float. I don't know if it can actually be a float. Maybe it just didn't want it to fail if it was. So what would you be? This is where it could make sense to just send the raw value and deal with it downstream. I don't know if I can actually view into a POSIX value. Okay. So you have a model.width. You have a min and a max. Is going to take an x, an actual x in this case, that we expect to be in the range of 0 to width. So we've got what? We've got max minus min. And I guess I could pull some of this out. And so we're getting a value in screen coordinates. And by this point, we've done all the interesting scaling. That turns... Just it's so many parentheses, but that says I need to make a function for it. Well, I guess plus wouldn't care about what order it was in. Multiply wouldn't care, divide does. This is getting hard to follow. First, now we need a new x. On the times is easy. Plus is easy. Okay, that did not replace. Replace big word. Code.map transform. I didn't put the argument here. Okay, that works. I don't know if it gives us something useful. Right, we only have downs right now. That doesn't seem unreasonable. Where was, Okay, so that is 8,000. 12939. Okay, so this is a second difference here for one. Or is it? One 1629399. That's a wee bit farther. One 1629272 2748. Yeah, I can see that being a little bit farther over from the very edge. One 16293. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Oh, you know what? I did a flat minus 3,000, 300. That is conditional on model.sidebar. Okay, if it's open, model.window width. Okay. 1629317. That's not too far off. One 16293610008. Not quite all the way there. I guess this might have some trouble hitting the very edge. That could be something to think about. One 1629274 When we get mouse move, we can maybe get up to the edge more. Yeah, client 2, client 4. And ultimately, we'll take care of our precision by sub bars. Da -ba -da -ba 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 -ba. So I guess the basic thing would be to enable the other events so we can at least see them happening. So those clicks are now doing actually useful things along the way. By the way. Because that's doing our command and everything. Yeah, the actual drag tracking here is where I left this as points, didn't I? And then we passed times through. If we've already done the translation, I might not need two values here. I don't know if I do a sweep action, I'm going to need another start eventually. Oh, I was just passing a constant through there. Oh, let's see. This is sort of related to map time, but it's also just kind of a UI state tracking thing. Actually, it's maybe kind of close to player time range. Now, to actually use this, we have to pull this through. Oop, too far. Okay, so the issue here is oh. How do I disable that? Okay, so I hooked up leave. I might not actually want to do leave here. I was thinking leave window. Well, the issue might be that we get leave window whether it messes us up whether we want to or not. Well, okay, but we stopped getting the events, so I actually would have to globally track move events to. Whereas this, I think, yeah, once you grab it, it's got focus. So well, you might be translating it to the input, to an underlying input control, and then letting the browser handle that. All right, right, but this, draggable, an element you wish to make draggable. Okay. So this has to be like an HTTP attribute. Hey, we've got some HTTP attributes here. Let's see if that's a built-in one. Oh. Attributes. Oh no, actually, oh no, this is here. Would that apply downward? It appears that it does. So I might need to globally track mouse move events while this is on. And I guess mouse release events would only care about mouse down if it was here. What are you doing? Is this because it's an input control, or are you doing something specific for that? So we've got thumb attributes. Element, height, width, rounded color. Okay, so nothing there. You don't seem to have any direct event handlers assigned. HTML.class. But if that's just a class, then that's, well, there might be attributes that you're applying to do that. Oh, these are some very fancy classes. There's like styles. Are those valid class names? Input type equals range. Now this is the, So are you making this opacity 0 and then drawing this stuff behind it? I don't know. Background transparent. Okay, so here's the real control. So you're not handling clicks. And we're seeing some of the reasons why that's a better solution for a single selection slider. Is there any general wisdom about this? How to create range. Well, Actually, is there HTML range sliders? I need a range slider. Oh, it's a range of values. Okay, that does have a range. This looks like a library. We can see if there's an actual input here. Okay, so there's the div. Ah, now you see, there's an actual input there. Yep. So this is they're doing the fancy stuff there, letting the basic. Hmm. There's an input again. Input type. Okay, that's just an image. This is documentation. Yeah, I don't have an easy way to see what it does. Okay. You're actually able to track. Oh, just with percent. Can I safely view this only? I might have to go searching in this. No, I wanted the directory. Browser min, simple slider min. Start and move. Okay, that's browser mobile. Might want to change cursor. Events.start. Document.onMove. And you're watching that always, which might not be great. Oh, document.onMove on end. Document.css cursor. Okay. So yes, they start watching these events on the top level when we're dragging. Which becomes complicated for our coordinate system because it's no longer based on the client coordinates. I mean, I guess as long as I make sure to cap it at the max value, maybe min, it might be okay since we happen to be at the edge. But that means you get this event. And I need to watch you to start it up. And then this would go up to the page level. It would be page leave, but maybe I don't want to do that. The problem is I would come back to the page and still be moving around. But you can't tell if the button was released while you were off, is the problem. Yeah, still tracking. And this could actually be a little bit of a challenge precisely because we have leaflet. Okay, so this has to go. Oh, I was doing my transform function here. We had this stuff all convenient. So if I redo these as straight up client X, we can figure this all out when the message is received. guess I'll basically go on layout. Huh. I'm actually wondering if I do need a larger thumb now. Because what if you actually did want to drag? Okay, actually not a lot happened here. Oh yeah, that's out in the middle of nowhere. This would be more active. Oh, this might be... Oh, this was an old place that got re-inhabited. There are some doors. And some things also got built and rebuilt, so you can see most of it. There's also a thing you might want to do. As I don't actually need to load the graphics most of the time coming in here. I guess I can just put the HTML attribute on these. It was just convenient to do them all at once. So maybe the dragging for this app actually ends up recording like which thing started the drag, and then it's just a move event. It was oh, yeah, we have to redo all this stuff. Maybe I actually do something that just returns this function. Where's the width again? So now we have to calculate that twice. Well, the only reason we needed the width was for this event. So that just kind of moves down to my transform function. Oh, but do we just pass the transform function in then? Does it make sense to switch this back to pixels? It's really convenient on the event side to just receive the time. And then I guess I'd have to have something. I just have a function that says if we receive a value, then rescale it. So if we're doing something, we've got to do this every time we re-render. If we only do all the transformation and receive a value, then it's only like while we're doing something that we have to do all this math. So we would have a function of the model that would take a x coordinate, and that we could extract in place right now and turn it into a timeline value. Now, we were only doing this when the timeline was rendered. And there's a whole bunch of maybes in here. I guess we just have to, like, case that and return 0. Well, once it's starting to get dark. Probably also means it's going to go wrapping up soon, but not yet. So especially if we're setting these up at our top level, we're going to be doing it all the time. Keeping the event setup lightweight is probably good. I guess that means I would go back to doing the 2 coordinates. So I don't know if there is like a super incremental way to do this. At some point we have to switch out what the events are sending. So somewhere along the line, this can probably be a model thing? Although we'll get into what the width of the sidebar is a little bit. Timeline. Screen to time. Now we were decoding that as a float. Oh, you need everything. Unfortunately. It needs a subset of things. It's not really worth pulling it out, I think. All right, this is going to be messy, messy view. There's our palette. Model map time, model range. That gets our start and our end. It's going to be our time. Actually, I don't need you for this. Maybe I only need to pass a range in here? Yeah, I need this is where we need the width. X is just a thing that's here. Oh, these are a whole bunch of lets. In. And if nothing, what else are we going to do? Okay, is this at the wrong indent? I guess. Now there's model map time, but even that could be undefined. All right, that was in terms of full model. Model dots. We need sidebar. We need window width. We need time range, technically. So time range goes in at the top there. Or I pass the model and treat this as a transformation function. And this transformation function no, was it right there? Is indeed a float to POSIX. So we could interim that by passing it through. And we won't end up needing that, but in a moment. All right. All right, then we can do that. Is this a formatting error? Yeah, it's a formatting error. Ah, yes. Okay, so that ought to work. All right, so you used screen range, time range, value. Yeah, we ended up using that stuff a little bit. And really, we're trying to remove this from the calls down here. This is where it's going to get messy. If we're pulling out client coordinates, we might as well pull both of them. So we can't actually drag this as attract this as a time. As long as we never have to do anything else. All right, so you already decoded a screen location. That should hopefully be fine. You are not going to take a transform anymore. Which means we can just go and undo. All right, well, having it here doesn't hurt anything. What's going to hurt things we're not there yet. Oh, this is probably the type of my events. Which is that this is going to propagate changes. So these become a lot less convenient now. So we care about X and we don't care about that. All right, and we had... Okay, we used time twice there, only once everywhere else. That takes care of that. You can go. You can go. You can go. You can go. Okay, we've got our out of bounds problems, just like before. But now we can get we don't have to have all that context to do our coordinates. I guess I don't technically have to switch this mouse down event off while dragging. So then I wouldn't need the drag status in here. All right, this is not a big group of HTML attributes, but we eventually were going to use this for something that, well, we're doing HTML events, but I can still take the result of this and run it to HTML attribute. Okay, then you'll be fine. I did another HTML attribute in here, but we just do HTML attribute. And this gets a whole lot less complicated. All right, do we care about this now? No, we just attach the events to the top level. And we can now drag outside. We have a little bit of weird side effect here that I'm not crazy about. I'm wondering if there's, because this is technically a HTML control, which can manage that better. Okay, now we've got our mouse leave, which is, we don't know what the button does. So we just kind of have to lose it. But that avoids the issue with like errors. Ooh. We've got some problems here. Oh, yeah, it's still tracking. That's like it's going negative or something. Well, I'm probably not handling bounds properly because it shouldn't have happened before. So we've got min and we've got max. May help a little bit. We've still got a problem with sidebar open here, though. Okay, so that solves that. So what's happening here? You're still 300, right? Yeah, you're still 300. Did I ever... did remove that. Well, we know what the transforms are. I guess really, I might actually need window width in here to know what my range should be. I don't know how much I want to bet it's like 900 something. I guess I never did test the sidebar open before. $946, $950. So that was 46. This is only like 615, 619. Oh, this is 300. There's still a scroll bar here. You are 330. Indeed. That's tracking a little bit better. Actually, probably there's just, so that's you. There might actually be, that might just be the prevent default thing. Oh. Okay, so this is, first of all, I have to get the proper information here. Oh. Visibility change, huh? Could be a little bit weird to have events coming from different places. Where did... Is this an HTML? Okay. So we're already using on. Oh. Well, this only account really cares. This only matters for the down, I think. May stop propagation. So really this is prevent default. So the first thing... I already got this. Oh, we're supposed to... We're supposed to also return the status. Although they're basically showing us how to do it now. More or less what I was thinking. That's still the old code. What? I did the wrong one. That's draggable. Okay, prevent default on. I don't necessarily want to put this in decoder, because I might need to pull that decoder out for the top level events. Although, interestingly enough, this tells me that I probably should have been using those browser level things for the Hades chart, too. Although, that wouldn't have worked for the touch events. Okay, so now we don't have this dragging, or this box selecting funny business going on. Okay. So these, however, become not view messages if we use browser. We're also probably going to want to move those so we can kind of stick them to all those events together. Actually, the interim way to do this, we do have a sub.none we can use here, so at least there's that. Oh, you can't do mouse leave. Would the cursor leaving be visibility? It's not really visibility. visibility. I may have to do an experiment to see if this gets anything the cursor leaves. Do I have... I don't really have a none. So we basically have to make a dummy message. Which then won't be handled. Visibility. Visibility. This is in browser.events, but maybe is it not actually defined? The way Elm does docs, it kind of has to be defined in that module. But it's telling me, wait, these look close. Visibility. Now it's going to complain about the case. Okay. So that does not accomplish mouse leave. So we basically have to have... Also, it looks like we have a notable event layer issue here. Oh, this is probably because it returns 0 and it becomes invalid. Might have some other range issues here. So visibility is not going to help us here. Well, it's true we could stop waiting for something at that point. Doing these browser events is going to be kind of minimally useful. Since we still have to have the mouse sleeve handler back on the view. Okay, so your compiler possibly could have done more intermediate things here. Oh, we need to put our animation back. That was a hack. No, you were in here. I guess I'm not actually using the data in drag yet, but that's because we haven't done sweeping motions. Do you not have space? Oh, you just barely wrapped. Now we're going to have significant disadvantages here. Well, okay, so second by second is not great. Like we can't do this, so there's going to be concerns to come back to later. I don't know if second by second's all that useful though. Oh, I still have debugs in here somewhere. And that's basically it, I think, yeah. Okay. Wait, I still have Viz? Or did I just reload too fast? Okay. Well, that was a pretty good unit of work. We might be able to get into sleeps, but then I have to get into like model storage for the slept time. Consequences of displaying that. What do we do with the indicator versus the time range? Well, indicator might follow, but then if you would play or something, it would go different. I actually have to decide what play means. It probably have to be the tightest, most recent range. Anyway, it's a convenient breaking point. That's when I'm usually on. Evenings are kind of when I feel like it, nothing else is going on. Let me see. I don't necessarily have a whole lot of coding people going on at night, but I might have a few. But thanks for watching. Okay, well, let's see. We've got some game dev. Okay, well, yeah, that'll work. So, if you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, oop. Stormberg, so they're building a 2D action RPG in Unity. Right now, it's got some pretty basic screen development. If you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye and until next time.